Hello, everyone. We're here for another video. Let's get to it.
It happens in seconds. 1 minute you're in control, and the next it feels like your front wheel has a mind of its own.
Oh no.
This is a wobble. And yes, it could happen to you. A
Yes,
tank
it can.
slapper, speed wobble, death wobble is basically a side-to-side movement of the front wheel, not to be confused with a weave or a fishtail, which is the rear wheel. Today we're just talking about wobbles. According to the J&Y law firm, a wobble can have several main causes. Rider inputs, high speeds causing engine or frame vibration, mechanical issues, and road conditions. As far as rider inputs, what we can do, I'll get back to that in a bit. But first, let's go back to road conditions.
If you guys don't know who Doodle is, Doodle on a motorcycle, she is awesome. She's a great YouTuber. Please go check her out. She's got some great stuff. She shows a lot of really good things that helps a lot of people. Please go check her out. I'll link to her YouTube channel below, and there's also a link to this video below.
Because here's where this really gets messed up. This is the direct quote from the U.S. Motorcycle Safety Standards and Practice Summary. Current highway standards in the U.S. permit pavement ridges of up to 1.5 inches without tapering, which pose a significant threat to motorcycles.
You think?
Another from Guidelines on Motorcycle and Bicycle Work Zone Safety says, longitudinal grooves from pavement milling cause instability for motorcycles.
Yes.
And another from the Motorcycle Advisory Council in an FHWA report says, typical roadway design and maintenance practices may not recognize the special needs of motorcycles. Conditions such as milled surfaces can contribute to crashes. This is a known and documented problem for riders. I think the bigger question is, how are these roads even legal? When we get to the prevention of wobbles
That's a great
part in this
question.
video, we've got Dylan Code, a racer and one of the lead instructors of the California Superbike School. We've got him telling us what we can do on these vertical grooved roads.
It's important to note that wobbles can and have happened on many different kinds of bikes. The Harley Police touring models had a confirmed wobble instability in test by the California Highway Patrol in the early 2000s. The
Wow.
BMW R1100 RTP was observed during police department trials to have a wobble over drainage rut during testing. And this one wasn't a recall,
Wow.
but Cycle World noted that several legacy Honda models.
So what that says is it doesn't matter what make your motorcycle is, you're still susceptible to it.
Like the VF750F, could suffer from front-end instability or shimming, particularly due to worn steering head bearings or misalignment.
Before we break down the common causes and prevention of wobbles, let's break down the one I know best, the one I crashed in. My wobble that led to a crash happened on a vertically grooved road, just like the ones we were talking about. So let's see my footage and
Yep.
break it down. I'm going 61 miles per hour, top speed of this bike, a 250, but had already hit that speed multiple times that day with no issues. Notice how when I hit the bump leading onto the grooved road, that's when the wobble starts. Watch when I hit another bump going back to regular pavement, that's when the wobble went from bad to worse.
And just a quick PSA, here's what my knee looked like after the wreck.
Yep.
And this is what my gear looked like. I was wearing the safest knee armor I owned, but there is even better knee armor I could have been wearing. I'll be doing some deep dives on gear on this channel soon, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.
Yes, definitely go check that out. She always does she does a wonderful job of reviewing gear and making good recommendations. You dress for the ride, you dress for the slide, not for the ride.
Before you freak out, every time you hit one of these vertical grooved roads doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be caught in a wobble. According to the crash investigator that analyzed my footage, certified from ACTAR, an organization of accident reconstructionists, engineers, police officers, educators, and attorneys that met and developed a minimum training criteria for police traffic accident reconstructionists, he said the stars were all in alignment to cause this crash. But it was also a combination of my increasing speed lightening the front wheel, topped out at 61 miles per hour, but also being a lighter than average rider on a lighter than average bike, and the tire tread design that happened to match the bridge's grooves almost exactly, creating a lock-in effect, similar to getting stuck in a railroad track. And no,
Yep.
I didn't hit any brakes or grip the handlebars tightly, I think, but when you're in that scenario,
I don't think she did. So if you look at that, again, she doesn't have a death grip. I mean, I can't see the right side, But this side here, she doesn't have a death grip, so she was holding it loosely, and that's how you're supposed to do it anyway. You're supposed to hold it loosely and just guide it. So, man.
I think, but when you're in that scenario, how much can you really remember? Remembering my off-road training and track days, I slowly let off the throttle and tried to remain loose. But to be honest, until this happened, I never specifically studied wobbles and what exactly to do, but now I have. So what can we do to avoid this?
I did some research and asked some instructors and motor officers, and here's what I gathered.
As far as our riding techniques, we can avoid sudden clutch releases and overspeeding. So making sure to shift smoothly and keep
Overspeeding is a big one for most bikers, especially the younger riders that are riding the crotch rockets. You know, the Gixxers, the R1s, the S1000 double Rs, the Fireblades. You know, CBRs, those sorts of things. You know, those are built for the track, and you get people out there that are just running. You know, just balls to the wall with it.
keeping your weight centered. And also noticing your tire tread and load. And here's what I mean by that. So some tires common on retro style bikes and cruisers have that kind of vertical pattern. And that's what can create this lock-in effect on the vertical groove roads if you're riding that road parallel, like I was. So sometimes even just the texture of your tire can prevent that lock-in effect. And as far as making sure it's not a mechanical issue, check your wheel bearings, things that you can check yourself, check your tire pressure.
Yeah, that's a great thing right there. This is all good stuff to check every time you get on your bike. You know, always got to check all this stuff. Make sure everything's good. It's a safety check.
You know, T-clocks, just check everything on your bike. Check your suspension. Make sure someone qualified checks the wheel bearings or the geometry and the steering geometry. Usually in motorcycles from 600 to 1000 cc, like sport bikes, they can go fast and they've got a narrow wheelbase. They just got that geometry that might make them more susceptible to wobbles if you are speeding. Some of those have a steering damper installed. Now here's what our racer and instructor Dylan Code had to say about what you can do, what I could have done on these vertical grooved roads to not have this issue. Shout out to MotoJitsu for getting this quote for us. And I'm gonna read it directly so I don't mess it up. As a general piece of advice, I would say that wherever possible, one would want to ride slightly diagonally across the grooves rather than letting their tire interlock with the grooves. That would of course depend on the tread pattern of the tire.
Yes.
I have had my share of death wobbles. The problem is sometimes applying a little acceleration will solve it, but I've also had that make it worse. In other cases, rolling off the throttle improves it, but again, I've had that make it worse. In some cases, a little bit of rear brake solves it. In some cases, not. I realize that doesn't help much, but you will find that while making a corrective action, if it does get worse, then I would say try to do something to the opposite. However, in most cases, loosening your grip on the handlebars while gripping with your knees will allow the front wheel to center itself and make the wobble go away.
And that's super important right there. That goes back to what I was saying with, you know, trying to guide it. Sometimes it's just not necessarily let go, just have a little bit more loose grip on it and let it figure itself out. You know, and as you do that, you let off the throttle, things are going to start to slow down. And exactly what he said. This is great advice, guys. I highly recommend it.
Jiu-Jitsu and I thought that meant that I could do, if I'm on a vertically grooved road again, to just go in a slow, steady weave so I'm not hitting any of those vertical grooves parallel. And if you notice, I'm not focusing on the bike here because according to the crash investigator and Dylan Code, with the information they had for me, when they saw the footage, they're not blaming the bike, but various other factors. First being the road. Certified instructors, MC Rider, MotoJitsu, Jerry Palladino, all have videos talking about how to avoid this. So I'll link to their videos down below.
And Dan the Fireman did an analysis specifically on my crash. So I'll link to that too.
But after doing all this research recently,
Dan's good too.
Here's my
love watching his
summary of some basic general do's and don'ts in a wobble. Don't tense up and try to fight it. Keep your grip relaxed. Roll off the throttle gradually. Lean into the handlebars. Let your bike decelerate without braking or downshift.
Okay, lean into the handlebars. Some may not understand what that means. what you're doing is you're actually applying you're applying body weight to the front of the motorcycle. And by doing that, it kind of helps to stabilize, because what is happening is it's trying to float, right? With its running back and forth. It's basic physics. So if you apply a little bit more weight, it kind of helps slow that down. That's what she's getting at.
And definitely do not put your feet down if that wasn't obvious.
No.
That can just make it worse. I hope I haven't unlocked a new fear for you. I still plan on completing my Route 66 road trip on that bike, whether it's fixed or on another one just like it.
And also, no camera on the handlebars at high speeds. One of the motor officers said that could have been a contributing factor too.
Especially now that I've learned all this. I don't blame the bike, only myself and maybe the vertical grooves in the road. At the end of the day, motorcycles are dangerous, and it'd be safer to be more comfortable on our couches. Yes, I am experiencing the anxiety many of you have mentioned after a crash, but I just keep reminding myself of this quote by John Shedd. A ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for.
That is correct. I mean, Doodle nailed it. She is a fantastic YouTuber. I love watching her stuff. If you haven't already, if you haven't paused the video or even just stop the video at this point and go follow her immediately. She's awesome. Great person. So thank you, Doodle, for that. I greatly appreciate your, I greatly appreciate the fact that you're putting it out there and you're helping people learn and understand. This is why I love your channel and I love the stuff you do. So keep doing you. And for everybody else, please like, comment, and subscribe. And please tell me what you've experienced. If you've experienced anything, drop in the comments below and we'll see you next time.